The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
Wrestling to the Max, Monday Night Raw Review.
Hello and welcome to the Wrestling to the Max Monday Night Raw Review. My name is Brandon Biskobing. I will be your host for tonight. And joining me, as per usual, is Liz Pugliese. How's it going, Liz?
Pretty good, and yourself?
Not too shabby. Now, before we officially get on the Raw review, especially considering the opening segment kind of falls into this, let's get the elephant in the room out of the way real quick. So, For those of you who have been living under a rock for the last 72 hours, 72 hours at this point, Brock Lesnar has officially made his appearance and his intentions known at UFC 207. Yeah, 207. 7. Was it 206? Either 206 or 207. I'm bad with numbers. But at the latest UFC pay-per-view this past Saturday, challenging Daniel Cormier, who beat Stipe Miocic for the heavyweight title over there. So, he's made his intentions known in a very colorful wrestling-type promo that would make Kenny Omega and Stone Cold Steve Austin proud. So, if you want to hear Brock Lesnar lay down a few S words and F words, go find the clip. You won't be disappointed. But considering that the rumor mill was rampant over the weekend and today, saying WWE is gonna address this on Raw tonight, and we got zip, nada, zilch. Nothing about Brock at all. And this is gonna lead into the opening segment because Roman Reigns was going to the ring. Bobby Lashley tried to stop him, and he said, no, and Bobby was like, please call me out when you go out there. And Reigns goes out, and sure enough, he does call out Bobby Lashley. Bobby comes out, brawl ensues, Kurt first comes out before anything happens trying to stop it and say, hey, save it for Sunday. But they don't listen, and they start brawling. The whole locker room clears out and tries to keep them at bay. And if you've watched wrestling for any even minuscule portion of time, you know how futile that effort is, because sure enough, both of them break away from their respective grouping of guys trying to hold them back multiple times and continue the brawl, and it even continues after they go to break. First, since I already went through it, what did you think of this opening segment?
It was boring. I mean, it wasn't. It was. I mean, I know I say, "Oh, this is boring and that's boring," and blah, 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 and people, if anybody listens to us, wonder like, why did she even watch? Because I do enjoy it, and I do enjoy bitching about it, I guess. Sorry. Sorry for the B word. But together, I mean, we've said it before, and everybody, says it. You can't deny that Lashley is very good at wrestling. He's proven that, elsewhere, definitely. But, and I mean, I'm not going to get into the whole Roman, thing that's been beaten to death. You can have one slightly, what's the proper way to say it? charismatic or non-charismatic,
Mm-hmm.
guy, work with someone who is, and they can pull it out of, each other.
Like
But,
what we saw with Sammy and Bobby.
right, exactly. But as much as I do like Roman, they're both a little too dull and droll, on the mic. So, and this kind of like came out of, nowhere. I'm not knocking Bobby Lashley because I think he's, very talented. I think working with somebody else, this would have been much more dynamic. But these two don't play off each other, well. And it kind of came out of like nowhere. Like, okay, Bobby Lashley's back. Roman's been prancing around, since the dawn of time as the, big dog in the yard or whatever. And now Lashley's like, yeah, well, it's my place, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's very forced. It's very out of nowhere for me in a sense. And I might have missed something somewhere or forgot, who knows. But it's just dull, and it's nothing we, as you were saying, haven't seen 1,000 times if have watched wrestling for any period of time. They brawled, they pulled away. I mean, it wasn't anything new. It wasn't any spectacular. It definitely wasn't the best opener of Raw we've seen in the past
Mm-hmm.
few months.
Yeah, I mean, well, and I'm gonna go back to my original topic in a second, but what you mentioned kind of segues me perfectly into it. These two are the types of guys that they're not the greatest on the mics, but they're big, tough guys who,
Mm-hmm.
if you just let them go out and brawl each other and, use physicality instead of words, or
Yeah.
even if it was just getting on the mic and basically saying what Daniel Cormier said to Brock Lesnar back on Saturday, push me now, talk crap to me now and get your face knocked in when we fight. Basically
Mm-hmm.
do something like that. Do a UFC type promo instead of a WWE type promo with these types of guys, especially with uh, Lashley and his MMA background.
Mm-hmm.
Reigns does not have that, but he has that personality. Um, if you did more of that and let their actions speak much louder than their words did and focus more on actions over words, then this feud could actually be interesting. I'm still interested in this feud, but like you said, with them talking too much, it kind of dulls it down a little bit. I was okay with the segment. Yes, it's been played out time and time again. We saw it with Reigns and Undertaker. We saw it with Lesnar and Undertaker. We've seen it with so many different people of, oh,
Mm-hmm.
they're trying to go at each other. The whole locker room clears out, tries to keep them at bay. And, of course, they break out and go after each other again. It's played out, but it's something that works within pro wrestling.
Oh, of course.
Hell, even in a real fight situation, hell, if you really think about it, this could, in theory, be, kind of their homage to what happened on Saturday, because Brock did break out a little bit after guys tried to hold him back and push Cormier again. So it's kind of, they may be taking some inspiration from that. So it's not like it doesn't happen in real life as well, but it's something that has been played out in wrestling, which is kind of that's one of the big problems that WWE especially has right now. Is there are only so many ways you can go with the feud, and within
Mm-hmm.
WWE everything has been played out. So with how cynical the fan base has become, everyone's looking for a reason to say, oh, this isn't original. But enough about this feud. Real quick before we move on.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of... First off, what do you think of the fact that they didn't reference what's going on with Brock at all? And secondly, what do you think, in your opinion, is going to happen with all of this?
Part of me says, why can't he do both? I mean, logically, I know why, can't do both. Conflict and, injury on one affects
A
the
lot of
other.
people a lot of people are
There's,
projecting that may actually happen, though.
I kind of, okay, so, as we've touched on a few other times on here, but mostly actually when the few times you and I have done NXT together, we've mentioned that, I grew up watching a lot of and I'm going to make myself sound older than I am, like territory type of stuff before it all, really came together.
Yeah.
So I like a lot of older school styles of things, more maybe, traditional, and I'm not knocking the current product, I'm not, because I still watch it, every week,
Yeah.
I'm just a cranky person. And it's not that it's Brock. I mean, it could be anybody. And I dislike not having a champion there. And I know I sound like one of those cranky, obnoxious fans, whatever, because I don't even dislike Brock,
Oh, no, neither do I.
I actually like him. I know a lot of people are like in real life he's a jerk. I've never gotten that, vibe from him. He seems like a good husband and a good father, and
See,
whatever.
my issue with Brock isn't Brock in and of himself. It's that if he's gonna have this schedule, he should not be holding the second top title in the company.
Right. That's exactly my point. I miss, and this is just my personal preference. I miss you don't defend it in 30 days. You have to defend it every 30 days, and it doesn't even, technically it still exists. But it doesn't even have to be every 30 days. It could be like every 90 days.
Or even especially with how WWE seems to be fine with following UFC's lead and taking a page out of UFC, or even they've done it themselves in the past. Go back to 2011. Brock isn't there for an extended period of time. Make an interim Universal Champion to have something to play off of in the interim while he's not there, and then once he's ready to come in and compete, then the interim champion faces Brock for the, undisputed championship. It's as simple as that.
It is. It just doesn't make any sense. What's so... I don't, like I said, I don't dislike him. I don't think he's, so awful. Is he one of the best? Obviously not, whatever. It's all in your opinion, and everybody's entitled to that. And I'm not going to knock you for, having, yours, and not you generally.
Yes.
But, I'm like so many, I much prefer having a champion that is, there in some capacity. I'm not even saying they have to wrestle every week, even like these open challenges with the IC in the US, whatever. I don't think you have to defend it every week, because there's like 6,000 people in the back, whatever. But I just don't. I don't think it makes, any sense. And it makes you wonder, like, what is so fabulous about Brock that you're keeping it on him? For me, it's almost like a slap in the face to a lot of people. Like, well, you're here every day, but you don't deserve it. You know what I mean? I don't know.
And the issue that I have, and you brought it up before, you don't think it'll happen because of conflict of interest. I don't think it'll happen for that reason as well. But if WWE does decide to do the, in my opinion, the boneheaded decision of saying, let's just say Brock is under contract with WWE or whatever, whatever is going on with him in WWE. And they have him hold it up until January when he is able to face Cormier. First off, that completely minimalizes and destroys the fact that Braun has the Money in the Bank briefcase. Because now he's just holding it, and can't do anything about it. But not only that, if you're having him hold it in order to try to have him go in as the Universal Champion, and then he gets his head knocked off by Cormier, what does that do about your product? It
Exactly.
completely reduces it to a joke. I mean, it's a
Mm-hmm.
joke enough as is to those fans. You don't want that hanging over your head even more.
I completely agree. I mean, my personal preference is to have like like they film in Matt Hardy show or whatever. I want Braun to like show up in Alaska or wherever the hell Brock lives, and with the ref and like challenge him on his farm or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Well, no. If they're really going that route of having him keep it until he can fight in January, I would absolutely love it just for the cross promotional aspect and just the hilarity of it. I would love to have Braun in the crowd during UFC whatever it would be in January. I don't know what number it would be. And especially if Brock loses, then Braun runs into the octagon with a WWE referee, cashes in, pins him 1, 2, 3 in the octagon, and gets the Universal title the next day or in 2 days at Raw.
I would love that. I mean,
so would I.
I mean, what it would do for Brock himself, I don't know. But especially if he had lost whatever. Although then they can
Well,
either
the only
one of
way it
them.
would actually work is if he would have lost. They could have planned it out on 2 levels of if he won, then we'd do something with it. But if he lost, then that's what we're doing because that's the thing. If he loses, it completely minimalizes everything that he's done over the past year and a half with WWE. So the only way to rectify the situation if he would lose is to have Braun cash in automatically and get the title so that they can move forward from there and just completely move away from Brock.
Yeah. I see them taking it off him, before then, because for the reasons you mentioned, they don't want something to happen where it makes Brock look like a complete idiot, therefore, making them, look stupider, in some people's eyes than they already do.
I just have this bad, I completely agree with you. I think most rational people completely agree with you. But especially with how WWE is with their marketing and them so focused on getting these, and the real irony is about it is that the fans that they're trying to get back, there's a very simple and surefire way to get them back, but they aren't willing to pull the trigger on it because they're too worried about, the stockholders and the parents and PC and all of this crap. But they're, I have a bad feeling that they're going to try to keep it on him until that fight to try to get some extra viewers coming into the WWE if he wins. But that's a big high risk, minimal reward type of proposition.
Yeah, I just go back to, I think, having, and regardless if it's Brock, Undertaker, Goldberg, Roman, David Arquette, I don't care who, it's just a slap in the face to the fans in a way, but also to the people in the back, because even Undertaker coming back like every, now and again, it's like, who cares? I mean, some fans buy into all that nostalgic, crap and whatnot, and I get it, but whatever, enough is enough.
I'm okay with things like that if it is a one-off thing for a big show, but nothing is really on the line. It's just kind of a specialty match.
Right.
But when there's a title in the picture and then you win it and then disappear for 6 months, that's when there becomes a problem. Because then you're completely minimalizing that title.
Yeah. I mean, and this also shows you that the fans are, what's the word I want to use? I don't know if hypocrites is the right word, or, sheep, but just ridiculous, really, because the whole Roman and Bobby thing, they say the same stuff, that we do. Oh, he's never there, and this, that, the other thing. But because it's Roman or Bobby, they're getting booed for saying it. But then these same fans are going around complaining about it. You know what I mean?
Well,
So
I think it's
I don't
more
even think the
so.
fans know what they want.
I think that's more so just because of.
They're
Well,
sheep.
it's because of who they're using, and also because of the way they're portraying it.
I agree, and I just said that because it's them doing it. They're like, oh, boo, whatever.
No. That's where I disagree with you. Is that I think if they were doing it, how do I describe this? If they had been doing this from the get-go, then it would be one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But now, because they're suddenly doing it now after months of the fans complaining, now it's like, oh, now you're finally getting it. And also, it's the situation of them. I had it, but now I forget exactly what I was gonna say. If they were saying it more as, like, basically what I said, of, we need a Universal Champion here, let's make an interim Universal Championship.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of focused on each other and just having this weird back and forth between each other over who's the big dog when there's no top title there. That, I think, is the problem.
Oh, no, that's definitely, no, I absolutely agree. But I also think that if you had two other people doing it, then I think the fans would react differently.
I'll agree with you to an extent, but, I
to
think...
an extent. But if you have Braun, I don't mean to talk over you, sweets, but,
Yeah.
If you have Braun come out with the thing and be like, he's never here and it's bullshit, and that's why I don't need this, briefcase. I'm just going to take it from him anyway. This, the fans deserve a champion that's here and whatever. Seth says it, Finn, even a few others, it'd be totally different. But absolutely, completely agree with what you said. But it's also the people they have doing it strictly because it's those people. The fans don't like it.
I'll agree with that too. I'll agree with that as well. But I do think if both Bobby and Roman both came out and said, because Brock isn't here, we deserve a fighting champion, let's fight for an interim Universal Championship, even if it wasn't officially sanctioned, especially with it being Extreme Rules and everything. Like, they could do some sort of unsanctioned, but, and them creating their own Universal title and everything like that. Like, do something kind of creative and funny like that. Or not funny, but, something, that would really get the fans behind them type of thing.
Yep.
I think the fans actually would get behind them, even if it's Bobby and Roman.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree.
Okay, so we got through enough of all of that. Hopefully, after Extreme Rules, we'll get some sort of indication of what the hell's going on. Especially
Maybe
now
he'll show up at Extreme Rules.
What?
Maybe he'll show up at Extreme Rules.
Oh, come on, really? You're not that naive.
Listen, just throwing it out there. I have to be right. I have to be right once in a while,
I'm the one who's always right. But I mean, I'd be. Hey, if that happens, I'd be happily surprised. But at least, hopefully, at least we get some sort of indication of what the hell's going on. because it has been officially confirmed, for all of those of you who have not been fully paying attention and everything, that he did not officially enter the US ADA testing pool until, I guess, yesterday. Either yesterday or today, or either sometime between Saturday and today.
Right.
So therefore, he cannot fight in the UFC until January. So, so with that being said, they've got pretty much SummerSlam and potentially Survivor Series to have him drop the title if they're going to have him drop it before he fights in the UFC. But hopefully we'll get some sort of indication of what exactly is going on sooner rather than later. But moving on. Our opening contest, scheduled for
One fall,
is a tag match player between Alexa Bliss and Mickie James against Natalya and Nia Jax. Not the craziest match in the world, but a decent match. Natalya and Nia Jax get the win with a running leg drop from Nia onto Mickie James. And then immediately afterwards, the big story is right after Alexa attacks her with a kendo stick, beats her down, keeps on beating her, and then Nia catches it, grabs it, thinks about whacking Bliss, but then Alexa rolls out of the ring, and Nia decides to snap it over her knee. So I don't really know who gets the momentum here. Probably Nia a little bit because she stood tall at the end. But first off, what do you think of this match?
it was alright. I mean, it looked pretty decent. Competitors. I'm not gonna knock anybody. It was your typical, tag match, be it, man or woman. Some, pretty good selling, a couple of interesting spots. Best part was the end with the candlestick. I didn't see that one, coming.
Mm-hmm.
I actually had that old naive thought, like, what the heck did she get a candle? Where did she get that?
Where do you think she got it?
No, I know, but it was so random.
Oh,
I'm like, where did she get that? I was like, duh, under the ring with everything else. Yeah, no, I mean, it was decent. I think they both actually gained a little momentum. Alexa, showed a little bit of fire, I think, and Nia, like you said, stood tall. So it was decent all around.
So following that, we get Nia walking backstage, and she runs into an interview. She says that's a reminder that Alexa will try anything to wear her down, but it won't work, and she's going to snap her in half at Extreme Rules. She won't forget everything Bliss has done, the stories and the lies, and she's going to pay her back inch by inch, inch by crushing inch, and take her title back. Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that, Nia. I have a feeling we're going towards Alexa Rousey, but we'll talk about that more later. Be sure to stay tuned. After we get through Raw, we'll do our predictions for the Raw portion of Extreme Rules. Then we get Kevin Owens going into Kurt Angle's office, saying he's not filing a complaint for unsafe work environment or anything like that. He's going to be the bigger man, and he hands Angle a doctor's slip saying that I'm not medically cleared to compete tonight, but I'm going to just hang out in your office tonight and chill and watch the show. Classic Kevin Owens. Glorious.
I thought it was a nice little twist. I mean, it's not something you would expect, like, hey, boss, I'm going to sit here with you, because he's not going to, like you said, it was
really,
classic. It was so random that I was like, yes, this is perfect.
Well, it kind of fits Kevin Owens' persona because it really makes me think of it makes me think of like one of those like really nerdy fat kids who like doesn't want to get beat up on the playground, and he goes like sits with the teacher for recess.
That's a brilliant analogy.
Like that's all I could think about during this whole thing. He's hiding with the teacher just so he doesn't get beat up. So then we get Mojo Rawley making his entrance. So the next contest scheduled for
One fall
is Mojo Rawley versus No Way Jose, and I get it. You're trying to push Mojo because he's big and beefy, but
you know, we all know by now, if you listen to us and we're still waiting for confirmation out there, people, that I am still new to NXT, and somebody named Brandon has been promising me that once I see Jose in the ring, I'm gonna understand him, and I'm gonna think he's great. And you're probably right. I probably would if I actually got to see him really wrestle.
I know. Yeah.
Because it's ridiculous. I think I said this. I didn't say it in chat. I said it on a Facebook group page for wrestling. What are they doing with him? It makes no sense. He was so hyped and so whatever, and he's so beloved. You think they would be doing something with him?
You want to know what he's doing with him? Zip, nada, zilch.
Yeah, exactly. And I have no interest in Mojo.
No. I mean,
whatsoever.
I mean, I was cool with Mojo when he was a part of Hype Bros. He had a cool gimmick and everything, and whatnot. But there are two characters that it seems like they basically have the same archetype. One, fortunately, is gone now, but Mojo, I think, is basically taking over Cass's spot as Vince's wet dream spot of just a big guy. He's just getting a push because he is a big guy.
Who, for Mojo?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
That was Cass's spot, but because of backstage shenanigans, Vince had no choice but to release him. So now that push is going to Mojo. But yeah, like I said, there are certain guys. I wish Triple H would stand up for his guys a little more. Because if you don't have any real interest in this guy other than to make him fodder, why are you... I mean, I hate to say it because it really is the truth, but Jose wasn't really doing much on NXT prior to being called up anyway. But, like, he has so much potential.
No, he really does. You see that I like I said, I didn't watch it, but I see, here he has the talent to the ring and he has charisma. I mean, I always say about his recycled to a degree, gimmick or whatever, but
it's like, while I agree,
see, fancy Jabba.
See, that's exactly what I thought originally, that he was going to be a very recycled gimmick, albeit not what you think, because you know what his gimmick is now. But when he first got introduced in NXT, I was like, oh god, just another generic Latino gimmick. But no, he actually, impressed me and showed charisma and everything. And when he was given opportunities in NXT, he showed that he can do, he can do well. But then but then after certain other signings, then he got passed over very quickly, and it looks like once again that the same thing is going to happen to him on the main roster.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely does. I mean, maybe he'll, get some type of refreshed look, or whatever. Not even look, but drop all those dancing people. That's what I mean. Or something, because I think it's, I don't know, the curse of being called up. I don't know.
It really
I
is.
mean, especially, because like they have him win 1 week and he loses 2 weeks. Win 1 week
Mm-hmm.
and loses 2. It's like he's just a fancy jobber right now.
Pretty much. Unfortunately. I'm just gonna knock this out of the way because it's stupid beyond belief, especially considering they had a gold mine that they could have used that they started last week, and now they're suddenly, what, did they just sign him for a week or something?
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you keep Dr. Shelby around? So what? You're just gonna show them haphazardly being in a therapist's room with no therapist, just kind of talking to themselves, not showing anything? They didn't show anything tonight. Yet they claim they did. What the hell is going on with Bayley and Sasha?
I don't care.
Honestly, at this point, I love both Bayley and Sasha. I have ever since they've been in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
But at this point, WWE, they're making it so that I just do not care anymore. They're making it so terrible that I just do not care anymore. There are two feuds, one on Raw and one on SmackDown, that everyone thought would be a surefire gold mine and would be, hailed as top feuds. And in both examples, Vince has found a way to absolutely destroy them. Raw, it's Bayley and Sasha. SmackDown, it's AJ and Shinsuke. How the hell do you do that?
I don't know, but they've done it.
They've done it, yeah. I don't know how, but they've done it. It's just like every single freaking WrestleMania, I get my hopes up, and Vince always shits on it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, this is the one and only time we're going to talk about Sasha and Bayley until they get their you-know-what together. Please, for the love of God, WWE, get your you-know-what together. Please. I don't want to not care about the women's division. The women's revolution was doing so well, but now you have a new fancy toy, and everyone goes by the wayside. Mm-hmm. This is the way you get the fans to turn on Rousey. Even if she's there way more often than Brock, if you're gonna put her in positions of, in high positions over the women who have made the division, and you're, reducing them to, random 5-second gimmick spots, that's how the fans are going to turn on Rousey. Mark my words.
I agree, because I said that in the beginning, and like I've said it 1,000 times, I keep saying that I really don't have much interest in the women's division because of the ridiculous way that they treat it. It's utter it's utter nonsense. And this whole thing, when we're talking about Rousey, like where she's suspended but she's still appearing at like big house shows. Give me a break.
Oh, come on. You knew WWE was going to do that. Come on. You can't be that naive.
No, I'm not naive. I just think it's bullshit.
I completely agree. But, it's WWE. They do whatever the hell they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get a very weird, I was only kind of half paying attention to this segment, so you're going to have to fill me in on this. Segment with Seth walking backstage and then Jinder Mahal, trying to do some sort of Hindi stuff with him.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I missed part of it too. So all of a sudden they were like breathing or something. I don't know.
All I could think of was Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom, Molaram Shularam.
I've never saw the whole movie, so I can't even relate to that. But it was like it was completely, completely random.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they were sort of getting along. I think I don't know if
Yeah, I don't ask. So after that, we get Seth Rollins coming out. He talks about all the nicknames he's acquired over the years: Mr. Money in the Bank, King Slayer, Architect, The Man, Monday Night Rollins. But to him, the only one that matters right now is former Intercontinental Champion. But the good news is that he has an opportunity to change that, because in 1 week at Extreme Rules, he goes one-on-one with Dolph Ziggler. And he says he loves testing himself against the absolute best. But the problem is he's going to bring that... This was probably the best line of the entire segment. He's going to bring that overgrown Scottish Wookie, Drew McIntyre, with him. I died when I heard him call him a Wookie. I was like, oh god, yes.
Yeah, that was the best line of the night. Best line from Seth, definitely, in a while.
But he's still Seth freaking Rollins, and when it comes to the two of them, none of that matters. Ziggler and McIntyre come out. Dolph thanks Seth for the kind words, because people should talk about how good he is more often. But he's not just bringing his toughness, agility, good looks, and this giant psychopath McIntyre with him. He's also bringing the title, and don't think for 1 second he's leaving without it. All I could think about when he came out and talking about McIntyre as the giant psychopath was, Dolph, do you realize that you're the new Shawn Michaels?
Yeah, right.
and Drew McIntyre is the new Kevin Nash.
God.
Am I wrong?
You're right. No, when you're right, you're right.
But... Drew says it's not all bad. At least he'll still have his catchy little nicknames, and a painful career-defining loss in which he got a glimpse of the future of this place. Ziggler still talks about how he's the future and all of this, which doesn't make any sense, because how old are you now, Dolph? How long have you been in the company?
Mm-hmm.
and Seth is younger than you?
No, not really. Drew's not that old.
No, I said Seth is younger than him.
Hold on. I think they're around the same age.
Huh.
Hold on. Now we must solve this mystery.
Okay, go ahead.
Because if anybody in our group listens to this,
yeah, oh god, they're gonna rip us to shreds if I'm wrong.
But Drew has been around quite some time, because I actually looked this up the other day because I was curious. We will get into my fangirlness at the moment. Yeah, Drew is 33, and I think Seth is like 31. I know he's at least 30. So.
How old is Dolph?
Yeah, Drew is only a year older than Seth. I'll tell you how old Dolph.
Drew or Dolph?
Drew is a year older than Seth.
Oh, okay.
And Dolphy Dolph. So Drew is 4 years older than Drew and 5 years older than Seth.
Okay. So, yeah, but still, him saying that, he's the future of this company when he's 5 years older than Seth, it's kind of ridiculous. But, he says, that Seth is still Seth freaking Rollins, the man, one of the greatest wrestlers to ever step foot in the ring. But he's no Dolph Ziggler, and when it comes to Extreme Rules, he might win 5-zip, 10-zip, 100-zip, yeah. Seth tells him the peroxide is getting to his brain because of all of the all of the bleach that he uses in his hair, which was another great line. Seth had the best lines of this whole back and forth, definitely. And he needs to get checked out. And he asks if there's any doctors in the house, which was great. Dolph completely botches his reply, which is hilarious. That'll definitely be on Botchamania. And he says, but then he continues and says, everything Rollins poured into the title match, it'll feel sweeter in his hands. But here's the deal, you don't win an Iron Man match with any of that CrossFit nonsense. He goes through all of the things, that he does in CrossFit. He says, that doesn't matter, you win by racking up victory after victory, beating your opponent over and over again until the scoreboard is filled up. Dolph brings up his his college wrestling record, which I wish Seth would have called him out, because this would have been another moment of, WWE kind of, albeit not, no one would take it seriously, in today's WWE, but, this would have been the perfect opportunity for Seth to be like, oh yeah, great, you had a great amateur wrestling record. What have you done in the pro ranks? That would have been a great moment for Seth to have put himself and pro wrestling in general over right there. And although Seth does ask if Drew helped him with all those wins too. And then Drew says it doesn't matter where I've been, it matters where I'm going, and that's straight to the top. What?
No, sorry.
Okay. Rollins asks why he's taking orders from Dolph, trying to brew some dissension between the two. And this was another great line. Rollins
you're about to say what I think you're saying? No, it wasn't. That took things entirely too far.
It was hilarious. Come on.
I was like, oh my god, I can't believe they went there. I mean, come on. They have to draw the line somewhere. That was a bit much. You do have children watching.
But see, that's the thing. Like, that's what gets people talking.
But, I mean, should Seth be talking about photo scandals? I mean, come on.
Come on, it was funny.
No, it was funny. I think it's funny and still not agree with it.
He's like, wait, no, he don't tell me he's got some photographs on you. I know it gets lonely in Scotland, but there are only so many sheep to go around.
I know that it was too far. It was too far.
I got a kick out of it. I liked it.
I did too. I just think it was a little over the top.
But that's the point. Wrestling is supposed to be over the top. But then McIntyre is about to attack him, but Dolph holds him back, and Dolph talks to Seth a little more. Then Drew calls him out and says, let's see what kind of man you really are, and let's have a match tonight. Seth accepts, and that sets up the match for tonight. And then another funny moment, Seth warns him to be careful because he's a bad man.
Let's not. Let's just not.
And Drew attacks. Rollins ducks, rolls out, and calls him a bad man again. All I could think of was Scott Steiner being bad. Come to slaughter. Bah.
I'm ignoring you until you move on.
Overall, what do you think of this whole thing?
Overall, I thought that was a bit too much. Funny, but a bit too much. We all have our limits. I mean, whatever. Um, but overall, it was a good segment. The three of them never really um disappoint, so it was probably one of the better segments of the evening.
Oh yeah, this was definitely probably the best segment of the evening. And the fact that you're saying that they're going a little too far actually gives me a little bit of hope, because that means that they're willing to toe that line a little bit more. Because remember, I'm one that grew up on the Attitude Era, so
No, I did. I mean, I didn't grow up on it. I was already grown up on it. I loved the attitude era, but even then, there were things that went a little
yeah,
too far.
but this isn't, at least for me, this isn't the type of thing that went too far, because this and this is coming from a person,
if you had a kid in the room with you, I mean, I don't have a kid in the room with me now, but if you had a kid in the room with you that turned you like, well, what the heck are they talking about? You would think it was a little too far. Yes, you would.
No, because
I'm going to lend you a kid. I'm going to find you a kid.
No, because listen to me, because I did a whole senior thesis paper on this whole subject.
On bestiality?
No. Oh. On things that, if you do it properly in TV shows, I did on how, like, Cartoon Network back in the 90s did this perfectly, of where they would leave these little adult innuendos of things that, to adults, it would click automatically. But to kids, it would fly completely over their heads, and they wouldn't even question it. And this is one of those moments of where this would, he didn't say it in a direct way. He didn't say it in a way where a kid would understand it. To a kid, it would completely fly over their heads. And they would just laugh at it as, oh, he did something weird with a sheep. It wouldn't be that sexual connotation that we are thinking about it. That's the way you do things. In a way that it flies completely over the heads of kids, but the adults are laughing their butts off. That's how you do it.
But, I mean, you also have to take into the fact that even in the last couple of years, things have changed drastically. So, innuendo like that, well, not specifically like that, but innuendo is everywhere. And kids as young as Cassian's age, almost a little older, are on YouTube and Instagram and all these different things. So it's different. I just see it one way. But
that's the thing.
No.
But that's the thing. Yes, but that's the thing. They're seeing it already, so they understand. It's not that awkward situation that it was back in the day of, if the kid understood, they'd ask their parents and they'd have to explain it. They know already.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah, my 10-year-old niece knows, how crazy it is, how things are. So, yeah, they're gonna understand it, so I feel like you can go that route even more than you could back in the day, and get away with it to where, you're still gonna have those very prudish parents that are gonna flip a lid over it, and they're gonna be the vocal minority that is gonna cause problems for WWE, but for the most part, most people are going to be laughing and saying, "Well done, WWE."
Yeah, it's not even just the sexual overtones of it. The whole silly stereotype jokes, or whatever.
I'm Irish and I still laughed at it.
But that's you. I'm entitled to my own, opinion about it without half an hour about the thesis you wrote here, darling. But I just see it a different way. I just
I,
thought that was like, you have to be kidding me. That's where he went with it. But for me, it was like also the pot calling the kettle, black. Obviously, he wasn't, as far as we know, Seth isn't into that type of thing. But you can't call somebody out on an alleged photo scandal when you had one of your own,
I'll,
I
I'll,
feel
I'll,
like
I'll, I'll give you that, but
that's
I,
that's a like, yeah.
I liked it. I would put it up there with a couple of years ago, Biggie about to say "Yippee ki mother," and then Xavier stopping him.
Yeah, they cut him off. Yeah.
Yeah, like see stuff like that. Like if you do it properly, you
Hmm.
can get away with so much in WWE and toe that line so finely where the adult smarkier attitude era fans
Hmm.
are happy, while the more uptight parents still are happy. You can get away with it. It's just up to WWE to do it. Moving on, we get B Team coming into the ring, and they're still continuing their whole Axel being Matt Hardy, while Bo Dallas is his brother Bray Wyatt. Uh, Axel says they'll dethrone the delusional delirious of worlds at Rules of the Extreme, which was awesome,
Hmm.
and become the Raw Tag Team Champions. Bo pledges to devour their souls with a side of rice and beans, maybe even with avocado if it's in season. A little salt and pepper. It's gonna be a buffet. that was hilarious. How he kept on going and going about it. The tag team champs are in the smoky room together. They pop up on the Titantron. Uh, Hardy's had enough erroneous dialogue from these mendacious monkeys. And the time for fun and games is over! And Wyatt says laughter is contagious, but so is fear. And the B team have been infected with the fear, but they have the cure. Matt says they'll eat and delete them at Extreme Rules, but Bray doesn't want to wait on account of them being here and all. They do the Undertaker spot of the lights going out and them appearing behind them. And we get the following contest scheduled for one fall.
One fall.
As Bo Dallas faces Matt Hardy. Bo gets the win. Not a terrible match, but not the greatest match in the world. The big story is at the end. But first, what do you have anything to say about this match?
Yeah, it was a decent match. I kind of like the fact that the B team keeps getting the wins, most likely up until the pay-per-view. They
Well,
don't.
yeah, this will probably be the
Hmm.
what's the word I'm looking for? This will be the prototype for the whole reverse momentum theorem. Uh, what do you think of the segment before the match, real quick?
I always find them entertaining. I think
Oh
the
yeah.
four of them work really well. It's like uncanny. I mean, all right, fine. It's uncanny about how the whole Curtis like getting startled by Bo was hysterical because he
Oh yeah.
does really look like his dad was hysterical. But it's uncanny how Curtis mimics that laugh.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Well, that's the
a little
thing. Like,
creepy.
I really hope that after I think we can both assume that the Delirious of Worlds are gonna win this match at Extreme Rules. That they do some sort of Lake of Reincarnation thing with the B team, and they join the Deleters of Worlds
Mhm.
as their acolytes or minions or whatever you want to call them. Uh, Basically, make a new Ministry of Darkness.
That would be interesting.
What?
That would be interesting.
Yes, it would be. But then following the match, the deleters, the lights go out again, and they pop up behind them and beat the B team up, hitting a rock bottom and a Uranagi and a twist of fate. So then we get some hype for Rollins versus McIntyre. Bobby is interviewed in the back. He says he has respect for everyone he's stepped into the ring with, except Roman Reigns. He doesn't like anything about him. Not least that he keeps on bringing up what happened 10 years ago. But he does like that he wants to fight. And when he steps up to fight, Roman won't walk out. Believe that. Tyler Breeze backstage offering a makeover by way of a t-shirt to Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan. They say they don't do fashion, they riot, and then they rip his shirt up. Riot Squad is down a person because of Ruby's injury, which kind of makes the Riot Squad much less riot-y. And them changing their entrance was even worse. I'm annoyed at that.
Where did they change it to? I missed the beginning of it.
They just it's not as it just sounds different. It's like kind of the same, but only completely different. We get a ham cam promo for the next match from Bliss about how great it felt to hear the stick hitting Nia's flesh over and over again. That was just a small taste of what she's saving for Sunday, and that rookie Ronda will be sitting at ringside to see her and Jax for good. Well, then again, he did win this match, but beware of what happened to the last person that called someone else a rookie. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No, I was trying to think for a moment before I asked.
Jericho to AJ?
Oh, yes.
Granted, Jericho did win that feud, but AJ then went on to become WWE Champion. So the following contest, scheduled for one fall, is Ember Moon versus Liv Morgan. A solid match, nothing too crazy. Ember gets the win by pinfall with a jackknife pin. What do you think of this match?
It was alright. Yeah, I can't really think of anything to say about it, to be honest. I don't like the backstage stuff with the Riot Squad. You've mentioned them before specifically. It's just so random and out of the blue. You know, with Fandango out as well, I was kind of hoping, like, oh, are they going to, make Tyler into a bad boy? And I'm down with it. Make it happen. Make it happen. Drag him along. Make him your little prisoner. Make him do bad things.
See, I'd be okay with the stuff that they are doing now if they had been doing this from the get-go, from when they first got called up to the main roster on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
But
yes, exactly.
Now them doing this randomly all of a sudden, after being moved to Raw, it just doesn't work. Mm-hmm. So following that, we get Finn Balor outside of the locker room. He's doing an interview. He starts answering the question, but Bobby, rolls up to say they're cut from the same cloth, both good looking, good hair, great abs, and unstoppable in the ring. I'm sure you popped for that line.
Yes.
Constable Corbin can say what he wants, but when it's time to perform in the ring, nobody's better than Finn Balor, and when it's all said and done, they're going to be... And he stops, and Renee says, glorious? No, not glorious. Victorious. And since you mentioned it, yes, they're going to be glorious!
Yes.
And Finn says it's funny that Corbin thinks he's the brains of the operation when all he's done is go around telling people Balor's half as big, tough, and strong, but he's not half of anything. He's twice as good, and he and Bobby could talk all night about how tough they are, but they like to do their talking in the ring. I like this whole thing. It was funny.
No, it was really good. It was nice. It was really nice to see that from them.
We get Kurt in his office with KO sitting there spraying air freshener because he thinks it stinks, but it's probably himself. You smell like cheese, KO. And berating Angle to get some plans. Angle suggests it's leftover stink from last week, and Ziggler and McIntyre roll in. Kurt adds the stipulation that if Drew loses tonight, he'll be banned from ringside at Extreme Rules. KO isn't very happy about it. Talks about favoritism, and Dolph agrees. But McIntyre chimes in and says, Rollins isn't making it through this match tonight. Don't worry about me. I've got this. Elias is in the ring. First off, what do you think about this whole little back and forth between these guys?
It was pretty good. I mean, all of them, are entertaining. They always give us a little bit of a gem or two. So.
Mm-hmm. Elias is in the ring, ready to sing us a song for the first time in a couple of weeks, because we haven't seen him in a few weeks. He says it's been, he even mentions it. He says it's been 2 weeks since his last performance, and he knows that it feels like a lifetime. But he does everything for a reason, and he's been in the studio recording his debut album. It's real, it's happening, and because I really hope they actually do let him put out an album. That would be hilarious.
God, yes.
And it's because of the universal truth that WWE stands for?
Walk with Elias.
He then launches into a song, running Bobby and Balor down as having the personality of a toilet seat and Boston being a terrible city. Yeah. He has to stop due to the booze, and says his friend Tom Brady told him to do like he doesn't pretend to like them, but he can't do it anymore, and he chooses to introduce Baron Corbin. Corbin gets on the mic and says the people don't respect Elias, but he does, and he wants to try his guitar out with a little lullaby for Finn. He asks the Drifter if he knows Itsy Bitsy Spider. And he says he knows everything and asks for the lights to go down. Baron sings about how he's going to crush Finn when he goes to the top rope. And then they make their entrance. What do you think of this whole Elias Corbin thing?
Okay, so we all know Corbin can't sing, but I thought it was entertaining as hell,
Yeah.
I get a kick at everybody, tries to get on the singing. I love that Aiden was tweeting, a little shade about it. Just, that was a great little tie-in. It's just entertaining. I always get it, I like Elias. I don't dislike, Corbin. I actually kind of like Constable Corbin. I think it's freshens him up a little bit. It makes him relevant, the whole Stephanie nonsense aside. I get why he wrestles in the clothes he wrestles in. It somewhat annoys me, but that's okay.
I mean, it basically is like Gallagher.
Yeah, I know. It's basically like, Gallagher, but he's, not Gallagher. So, whatever. It works. It is what it is. It's like, whatever. I thought it was entertaining, and I love whenever they interrupt whoever's singing. So.
Oh, yeah.
But it's out of our misery.
Yes. So, the next contest scheduled for one fall.
Wonderful.
is a tag match. Come on.
Again,
No.
player.
Yes. Thank you. You have to be the one to do all of our gimmicks.
I know.
As Constable Baron Corbin and Elias faces Bobby Roode and Finn Balor. This was a pretty decent match. Nothing too spectacular, but it was a decent match. Some nice hot tags and whatnot. It was cool. Finn yanking Corbin off of the or not Corbin. Elias off of the apron when Corbin was trying to go for the tag. And then Corbin and Elias are able to pull off the win with a pinfall with end of days from Corbin onto Bobby Roode. What do you think of this match?
Wasn't bad. I mean, I've never, like a lot of people, I've never been a fan of completely random. I mean, I know it's not completely random, but a tag match for the sake of having all these people on the show, really. But it was one of the ones that worked. There's the whole history between the four of them.
At least this works because I think both of these two are going to have matches at Extreme Rules. I know Corbin and Finn are, but I think Elias and Bobby
it did work because it's one of those things where you could see any of them against any of them, even the ones that are partners, So it was a decent, pretty good. I'm not even gonna say decent. It was a pretty good match. Like you said, a lot of hot tags. Corbin used the chaos to his advantage, to pull off the win. Yeah. I can't really complain about it. Shocking,
I forget if it was during this match or either earlier on or later on, but I just thought of something. Can you try to remember? Michael Cole said something really, really stupid at some point during this show, but I'm trying to remember.
Oh, really?
What?
Really? Shocking.
Yeah, yes, it's shocking. I know, but it was almost as bad as Live in Technicolor. It was along those lines, but I'm trying to remember what it was.
I'll try to think. I can't think of it offhand.
I'm gonna have to find it later because it was hilarious. I just was like, really? Seriously? So after that match, we have Kurt in his office. KO's eating a sandwich and offers Kurt a bite. When Braun comes in, Angle tells Owens to relax, and he says, you two are going to settle your differences on Sunday, which he makes official as a steel cage match. Braun asks what that smell is, and he pulls the air freshener out before moving on Owens and telling him he reeks of fear, which is funny. He sprays KO with the freshener, who chokes and gags on it. We kind of saw this coming, them having a match, and especially with KO being the, coward heel, that this would be a steel cage match. This is going to be an interesting one, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think it definitely actually has the potential. And I'm so sorry for saying definitely so many times in a row, but I think I found what you were referencing to, and I was trying to switch gears about Cole. I think it has the potential to be the match of the night because I think that Kevin absolutely has that in him, as we long and well know, and Braun as well. I think these two work so well off each other because they both have a great sense of how to pull off the crazy lines, the funny stuff, the comedy, but not make it so brash and stupid. It's very natural. It flows,
Oh, yeah.
So that has helped them immensely. And we know that they both can beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah. This is going to be an interesting match, that's for sure. So you think you found what I was talking about?
I think so. Was it when he said that the match is coming up next, and then 5 seconds later he was like later on tonight.
No, it was
Oh,
something like really campy. He said.
nope.
Um,
Look at it.
but we get Roman being interviewed backstage. He said he did exactly what he wanted today, and he didn't have any respect for Lashley until he saw the fire in his eyes tonight. But he's going to need more than just that to win on Sunday. He's got a killer instinct, and he doesn't care about Bobby's physical tools. He's going to beat him and move on to bigger and better, while Lashley is the guy somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get the main event scheduled for one fall.
One fall.
As Drew McIntyre faces Seth Rollins. This was actually a pretty good match. But Drew McIntyre wins with the Claymore, which means that he'll still be at ringside for the Iron Man match. And then with some shenanigans, Dolph interferes towards the end, which doesn't help Ziggler because he gets a blackout for his troubles.
Mm-hmm.
But Drew's able to capitalize on it. And Drew then hoists Dolph on his back and carries him out as Rollins recovers. What do you think of this match?
I enjoyed it. I mean, it didn't hurt that it was, Drew and Seth.
Oh yeah.
But it was a good match. Seth has been, really hitting every mark. The past few weeks, you have to give him that. He hasn't really disappointed at all lately. But it was a decent main event. I mean, it's nothing you could really be like, oh, that was crappy, or whatever. They did exactly what they needed to do, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. So that'll just about do it for us. Anything else you want to say about this one?
The match or the show in general?
The show in general.
I don't know. I think it was kind of lazy, writing. It wasn't that great of a go home show. I could have lived without all the extra Roman and Bobby stuff. I think it should have been the brawl, and
Well,
that's it.
That's something that WWE seems to do.
Yeah, no, I mean overall, it was decent. I don't think they really did any benefits to them, help themselves in any way to sell, Extreme Rules, except for maybe Kevin and Braun.
Yeah. Do you have a specific rating on the show?
I am going to give it a solid 7.
I'll give it a 7 as well. Some things worked on this show, but some things certainly didn't as well. So
I'm giving it a 7 just for Seth calling Drew a Wookie.
Oh yeah, that was great.
I was like, just not something you expected. That was fabulous.
1-word review on the show.
Originally I was going to say my 1-word review was dull, but it wasn't completely dull. So I will say lazy, because there was a lot of lazy writing.
Mm-hmm. I'll do one of my my infamous hyphenated words. I'll say hit and miss.
Yes, that's perfect.
Because some things were good. The whole Drew and the whole Seth and Drew and Dolph back and forth towards the middle of the show was hilarious and great, and that was awesome. But then a lot of the stuff, don't even get me started on the joke that is the whole Sasha Bailey shenanigans thing now. A lot of it was a miss, but certain things were a hit. Now, before we go off, let's go through our Raw-based predictions for Extreme Rules. We'll talk about SmackDown tomorrow with Harry. But let's go through Raw. First, we've got Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax in an Extreme Rules match for the Raw Women's Championship. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say Alexa.
Well, let me just put it this way. There's one thing that I think everyone can agree on. There's no chance that there isn't going to be some sort of shenanigans.
Oh yeah.
With Rousey at ringside. But considering the house show stuff and considering all of that, I have a feeling that in some way, shape, or form, Alexa's gonna somehow retain, and we're gonna get Alexa versus Rousey at SummerSlam. I could certainly see it being Alexa versus Jax at SummerSlam too, though. But but I think it's gonna be Alexa. Personally, I don't like it, but I think that's what's probably gonna happen.
I don't really mind if she is. I'm so disinterested, and I actually hate saying that. I do. I should not be so disinterested in the women's division.
I'm disinterested only because it's so predictable now. It feels so
repetitive.
Exactly.
It's so repetitive, and that's the thing. I could care less.
Yeah. I mean, I could care less until SummerSlam when Rousey is, back.
Yeah, I don't even. I have whatever. I can't even care about that. Maybe they'll do something that'll entertain me. Who knows?
So next we've got the tag team title match for the Raw Tag Team Championships between the Leaders of Worlds and the B Team. I think this is just a transitional feud. Matt and Bray win, and the B Team become part of the Leaders of Worlds and become Woken.
I will completely agree. I was going to say this earlier, but I didn't get a chance, and that's my fault. Because I'll admit I lost my train of thought. But is it me, or have we not seen in all their because like at the end of the match when they were all like kind of fighting, Bray and Bo haven't fought, right? Or did I miss that?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, so that's one of the reasons why I'm looking forward to this match because
they may be saving it for the pay-per-view because I
know. I want, and that's why I want to see this match. I mean, I like all four guys. I think the whole thing has been very entertaining. I think you and I own probably some of the few people who have actually enjoyed this.
Yeah.
But, I'm waiting. You and I have been waiting for them to become part of it. It has to happen. And I noticed it before. I'm like, actually, I thought Bray was going to go after him. And I'm like, oh, he held back.
I think they're saving it for.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Because it always goes with what Triple H said in in one of the countdowns. You hit your enemies hard and your friends harder. So it should be interesting. Next, Did you give an official prediction for this?
Yeah, I agreed with you.
Oh, okay. Next we've got Dolph Ziggler versus Seth Rollins with Drew McIntyre in Dolph's corner. This all depends upon the chaos that is involved with the Universal title. But at this moment, just based off of what I know, I think Dolph is gonna retain.
I believe. Okay, so I'm going to say two different things, and you can laugh at me all you want. I don't mind. I'm going to let my fangirlness come out.
Go for it.
Dolph definitely retains.
Okay.
I think it would ruin everything they have going on, any momentum, whatever. Unless he's going to turn around and re-win it on, Raw, which is just stupid.
Yeah.
In my opinion, no offense to anybody who wants that to happen. What I really want is Dolph to retain, and there's like this huge beatdown, and Dean comes back. So it's not going to happen, but that's what I want.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, because I don't think Dean's anywhere close to...
Just pretend for a moment, Brandon. Pretend.
No. I'm a huge Dean Ambrose fan myself, so I would love it if that happened, but, I'm just saying...
But for me, it's like, and I don't want a Shield reunion. I mean, we had Roman help Seth last week or the week before, whatever it was, and that's fine. I like that. I like the continuity of it, but I think it would add something if they eventually built up Dolph and Drew's side, and had not like a huge whole faction, war, but just built it like, okay, there's the two of you. Well, all right, you have your psycho Wookie here, and I'm never gonna let that go. I'm gonna say it every single week, even when Gary's back and I'm not doing it anymore. I'm just gonna be like calling and be like, Wookie.
No. Especially since you just said that. Especially since Seth called him a psycho Wookie.
Mm-hmm.
Dean needs to grow out like a mega beard, and he needs to come back as Seth's psycho Wookie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You have your psycho. Well, you know what? I have mine too, but they need to let Dean really be a freaking psycho, not that nonsense they had before. Anyway, now we may proceed.
Yes.
Thank you for indulging me.
Let me just say one more thing. Since you got me on the subject, I still want, in an ideal world, I know it will never happen, but in an ideal world, I forget if I told Tori this or if I said this on a podcast, but my ideal Dean comeback, just because of the hilarity of it and the pop for it, would be Renee Young doing an interview. Because I know they haven't officially brought it into, kayfabe canon, but, it still works because most of the fans know. But Renee's doing an interview with someone, and you have her panned, right, where her the side of her face is, right at the edge of the camera. And then suddenly you just see a kiss, hit her on the side of the face, and then it pans over to Dean.
Oh my god, I want that to happen. Oh my god.
One can only hope, but I know it won't happen.
Oh my god, that's so adorable. I have to say this, but it's just on the topic of Renee.
Yeah.
On social, I love her social media, because I love to cook, as you know, and she does a lot of cooking, so I love when things, things collide. She gets such ridiculous hate for cooking for her husband.
What? Why?
Yeah, because fans. This is why I say fans are morons. She loves cookbooks, fancy cookbooks. The stuff she cooks is not the other day she was making these hamburgers or whatever, but she was grilling stuff. I think they moved into a new house. If they have, God bless them. I wish them the best of luck. I'm so happy for them. But she cooks pretty advanced stuff, kind of I don't want to say gourmet, but some complicated stuff, and a lot of people, famous or not, they Instagram it, they story it, whatever.
Yeah.
She has had to limit her post, the comments on her posts, because she gets such nonsense if she says, "Oh, John loved it," and that's where fans are crazy. It's so
Why?
ridiculous. Because fans are idiots. Because fans don't want these two to be happy. It's ridiculous. It's
What?
absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, fans give her such like. I don't know if you ever listened to her podcast. I've listened to
No.
it a couple of times. He's actually been on there. You have to listen to the one where they review The Bachelorette.
Oh
Listening to
God.
John Good and aka Dean Ambrose
Yeah.
reviewing The Bachelorette is downright hysterical.
Oh
Right?
God,
It's
that
bad.
just
Like, yeah,
sounds hilarious.
it really is. But she gets such out of everybody, she gets such unnecessary hate for cooking her husband a meal on the one, maybe 2 days a week she has off. That people just need to be ashamed of themselves. That's my
Why?
reason. It's
What's the
stupid.
reasoning behind these people giving her hate?
Because she's married to Dean Ambrose. It's the fangirl. It's the crazy ass,
Oh, okay. Now I get it.
crazy ass, crazy ass,
The
fangirl.
fangirls who want
Yeah.
no.
Crazy,
Okay.
yeah.
See. When you first said that, I was thinking it was one of those situations of like those like weird feminazis who are like, oh, the women should.
There are those two.
God.
There are those two. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like,
and whether the same person, it's ridiculous.
yeah. Because like Tori cooks me dinner all the time, and like she likes doing it, so
yeah.
there's no like if the woman wants to do it, there shouldn't be a problem with it.
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree. It's some of that and some of the other. It's just crazy.
That hurts my brain. Now let's move on before you hurt my brain even more.
I'm so sorry.
So next we've got Roman Reigns versus Bobby Lashley. Honestly, I'm kind of torn on this because this is another one that's kind of dependent upon what's going on with Brock. Because I feel like both of them could be legitimate contenders for the title. But especially with Braun, I don't think it really matters. But considering Vince is still hell-bent on the whole pushing Roman and making him look strong thing, I have a feeling Roman's going to win this match. And I have a bad feeling that this is probably going to be the main event, which means that this is going to get booed out of the building again, just like Backlash.
I don't think it's going to be the main event. I think that we're not going to have a clear winner. I think this is where Brock shows up.
Okay.
And Brock beats the shit out of both of them.
I'd be cool with that. That would actually be the perfect That would actually be the perfect way for this to happen. And then we get a triple threat. Actually, now that I think about it, especially with Brock going back and everything, that would be the perfect way of doing this. I just thought of a perfect way of doing this moving forward. Brock comes in and interferes in this match, resulting in a no contest because he attacks both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Kurt makes it so that both Roman and Lashley are both number one contenders, thus making it a triple threat match.
Mm-hmm.
Braun, in the middle of the SummerSlam match, pulls a Seth Rollins, thus making it a fatal 4-way. And that allows Brock to basically sit at ringside, not caring, not doing anything. He gets knocked out by Braun, get slammed through the table or whatnot. He lays out on the ground for the entire match, and we get a new Universal Champion.
Yes, and I want to see Braun pin Roman and Bobby at the same time.
That would be great. Not sure if we'll get that, but we'll get a new Universal Champion at least.
Girl can dream. But I don't think. However far it goes, I think this is where they set up trying to make, Brock stay relevant and Brock stay strong. I think Brock interferes, knocks one out, gets slapped around a little bit by the other one, then F5's the you-know-what out of both of them.
I'd be cool with that. Next, we've got Finn Balor versus Baron Corbin. I know what I want to say, but I have a very bad feeling it's going to go the other way. So
excuse me, I'm so sorry if you want to, I want to say that Finn wins, right?
I think you're on the same page as I am.
Yeah, Corbin being, the newest henchman, there's either yet again more shenanigans somehow, or Corbin wins.
I think the best way to handle this, personally, to make both guys stay strong, is to have Finn, especially considering how Corbin is now, especially with him being the constable and everything.
Right.
Finn is dominating the entire match. Hits a couple of sling blades, is up to the top right, hit the coup de grace.
Mm-hmm.
Corbin rolls out of the ring and grabs a chair and just whacks Balor and loses by DQ.
I can live with it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so could I. So that would be my prediction, is Corbin's gonna lose via DQ. So the final match for Raw is a steel cage match between Braun Strowman and Kevin Owens. And again, this one seems like it's, pretty clear cut, foregone conclusion of who's going to win. But especially the curse of the briefcase that we've seen over the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
I could definitely see KO somehow figuring out a way to escape the cage and get a win. But I'm gonna go with Braun here.
Let me think for a second. It does seem obvious that Braun's gonna win. Will a loss hurt Kevin? I don't know. I don't. Maybe a little bit.
Against Braun, not so much.
But that's the thing. Against Braun, not so much. But will he have some help and somebody, who knows? You never know what they're gonna do. What I really want to see is, Kevin. And this is stupid because I don't really know. I want Kevin to win. I do, but I don't want to hear they lost faith in Braun. Because he's lost to Kevin. So to save myself some sanity, I'm just gonna come up with ridiculous. Even tomorrow, just so you know, I'm gonna come up with ridiculous endings to every match. Just to liven things up and aggravate Harry. I'm going to. What I really like is to see something crazy. Not kind of how long is the match supposed to be? A half hour? What's the time limit?
There's no time limit. It's not like the Iron Man match or anything. It's a steel cage match.
So, then that was what I wanted, because I would love to see Kevin trying to scale it, and Braun just reaches up and holds on to him, forever. So I just want some stupid ending that results in the match being called, or I'll settle for one of those ridiculous, they both drop down at the same time.
Well, but, no, here's actually probably the best way to handle it. And it doesn't work as well with the new cage, I don't think, although I'm sure they could probably set it up. I'm sure they could set it up to where it would work. But let's go back to St. Valentine's Day Massacre 99.
Let's pretend I knew what happened and keep talking.
You don't remember that show? The debut of Big Show?
first year I graduated college in 98, and I had my first real full-time job in 99. I probably didn't even see it.
Oh. Well, that was the debut of Big Show in the WWE. And he came out under the ring during a steel cage match. Granted, this was back when they had the square cage.
I remember now.
Yeah. And he came out from under the ring, tossed Stone Cold into the cage, which, gave way and, flew out. And Stone Cold landed on the ground, thus winning. Have something like that where Braun just tosses KO into the cage, and the cage gives way and falls, and KO rolls to the ground and wins that way.
That'd be hysterical.
We
work well together.
What?
We work well together, Brandon. We work well together, Brandon. I come up with these ridiculous things, and then you fill in the gaps.
Yep, pretty much. Hey, we could be on the writing staff for WWE.
We could.
And we'd probably create a better product.
And then we'd be fired.
Probably.
Maybe we could just go help Impact.
Yeah, let's go help Impact. God. I don't think they're able to be saved at this point.
I don't think so.
I think that just about wraps us up here. Do you have anything else to say about either tonight or Extreme Rules?
No, not that I can think of.
Okay, so be sure to tune in tomorrow for myself, Liz, and Harry Broadhurst as we run down SmackDown, and we'll run down the SmackDown side of Extreme Rules, and Harry will give his predictions on all of the card. So be sure to tune in for that, and then I'm sure someone will be reviewing Extreme Rules on Sunday, and then NXT.
Someone? Are you hinting that it's us? Is there anybody else that's really going to do it?
Maybe Harry. I don't know what he's doing on. Oh wait,
Harry's
right.
At home for Extreme Rules.
He's gonna be at Extreme Rules. You're right. So yeah, it'll be Liz and I for Extreme Rules. So so be sure to tune in for that. And then myself and either Liz or Harry will be covering NXT on Thursday. So crazy week of wrestling. Hey, you ready for a trifecta next week?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, so for Liz Pugliese, I'm Brandon Biskobing saying so long, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Peace!